and everybody has privilege, right? Like black people also have certain privileges.
Absolutely.
And privilege could be a status, wealth, and breaking out in that sense, not just race-based. So sometimes you'll hear the conversation where people don't even understand their privilege, and they think just because they haven't, they're not aware that they tap into it, that it doesn't exist. How do you break that down to somebody who don't even understand? Because came across a few people that being white, they don't understand just that alone is a privilege, especially in this part of the world.
So I'm glad you said that. I came across a social media meme or post, and what it said was, if men disappeared for 24 hours, ladies, what would you do? And you read it and you're thinking, oh, they're gonna throw some jokes in and stuff like that, and there were some jokes, but it really got serious. Somebody posted and said, I would actually go for a run at 3 in the morning and not worried about being jumped and raped. Another person wrote, I would wear whatever it is I want to wear and not worried about being judged. And I'm reading this and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Again, I'm a man, so I can't specifically speak to what these ladies are speaking of. But when I'm reading this, it was so clear to me. I was able to understand that the way women have to navigate this world is a lot different than the way men have to navigate this world. The way a black person navigates is different than someone from a different race, someone who has a disability. I get up in the morning and I say, okay, I can leave the house within 15 minutes so I can, sleep as long as I can jump in my car, I can go, I can get to my job. Someone who has a disability has to say, I have to get up that much earlier because I have to jump in my wheelchair, if that might be the case. There's certain things I have to do. It takes me longer to get into my car. A person in a wheelchair has to think about, what job can I apply to? Because that building may not have accessibility. What restaurant can I eat at? Because they may not have a ramp for a wheelchair. These are things that I don't have to think about. I just keep it moving, right? And so it's important for us to recognize these things because we all navigate the world differently. And because we all navigate the world differently, and I have a privilege that someone else may not have, someone else has a privilege that I don't have, if we can be cognizant about these things, again, going back to the education piece, if we can be cognizant about these things, that allows us to be more empathetic with somebody else's cause, with somebody else's plight. And I think, again, that's what really, really does matter. So yes, I'm going to have a privilege that is more than somebody else. Somebody else is going to have a privilege that's a lot more than me. However, if I can start to understand where somebody else is coming from, then I can be a part of that cause. If I see somebody who has a disability and their fight is trying to get a school system or a major corporation to put a ramp in, then I can sign that petition. I can be there for that person. I can start to have the conversations if I'm in that position to do so. So I can use my privilege to allow that person an opportunity to get in. And again, that's what it comes down to. If we can use our privilege, whatever that might be, we have to recognize it, as you talked about. If we can recognize it and start to recognize it and educate ourselves, that helps us to recognize it, then we can use that opportunity now to help everybody to be treated the same, like we all want to be treated.
Which is rightfully put, like it's just understanding it and not fighting it. Like it's nothing against a particular person, but it starts by saying, I have privilege because of X, Y, and Z. Here's how I'm using that to further cause, to help people and to go about it. So thank you for that.
Before you go on, you had an opportunity to visit a certain part of Africa.
Right.
And I'm sure you got a chance to see, people who had castles, right? Had amazing houses.
Right.
And then on the other end, the poverty. Yeah. And I know in a lot of different countries, the poverty level that we see here is nothing in comparison to some of the other countries. And you really need to have that opportunity to see it, to experience it, to recognize, wow, I may live in an apartment that's, government run or government sanctioned. I may have a car that's broken down and never really works. I may not have that 2 or 3 car garage that I want for myself. But when I see somebody else's situation, I start to recognize, even in my government ran home or my car that's broken down, I have so much more privilege in comparison. And so again, it comes down to understanding, empathizing what somebody else is going through, to recognize how lucky I have it, so I can now be a part of the change for that person.
Yeah, perfect, thank you.